sure you're okay? You've been walking kind of funny since we left camp. Don't worry about it, I'm fine. It's my first kink from the water. Man. I don't trust Darius when he says he's fine. Thought I brushed it all out in the tent, but I guess not. I wondered why you were taking so long. I could have helped you, no? It's all good. What's all this in the bag? Water and snacks, a flashlight, and some other things. We started a little later than I intended, so it might be getting dark when we come back down. I thought it'd be best if I was prepared. Oh, smart thinking. Hopefully the trail up the mountains is mostly clear. Especially for wearing shorts, for God's sake. Most of the hike isn't up the Most of the hike isn't up that steep of a path, but as we get closer to the top, it'll get rockier and steeper. The path doesn't seem to be going up that much. We're walking more along the mountain than anything. A path straight up would be more tiring. It inclines slowly as we walk along. There'll be some nice things to see along the way, so just enjoy it. The journey is just as important as the destination, you know. I guess that's true sometimes. Is this an allegory for the people who were like, there's too much story, just do the porn parts? Fucking hell. Ready for another story while we make our way up? I'm listening if you have one. So, my dad actually went camping with us one time. It was the first camping trip I ever got to go on. Really? Your dad went? Yeah, I think Nan guilted him into it. There's no way he'd come just to relax and have a good time. I was like 7 or 8 or something like that. It's been so long now. Anyway, I was at the same park I told you about with Grandpa sitting around in his underwear. There were hiking trails around there too, and throughout the whole hike, Dad was on his cell phone. We marched on and on up a mountain, and once we got to the top, the view was amazing. It overlooked a huge lake that was surrounded by trees and whatnot. It was great. Nan wanted a picture of everyone together, but Dad wouldn't put his phone away long enough for us to get one. So what does Grandpa do? He snatches Dad's phone and chucks it as hard as he can off the cliff. Sound like he deserved it. Oh, yeah, he did. Dad was irate, but Grandpa's anger can be overwhelming. Gramps laid into him while me and Nan wandered about the top of the mountain for a bit. Once we got back, we got the picture and went back to camp. When we got there, Grandpa did give his phone. Grandpa gave Dad his phone back. Huh? He was a sly old man. Turns out he had thrown a rock instead and had slipped the phone into his pocket. He talked it over and Dad kept his phone away for the rest of the trip. I guess that's better, you know, instead of the destruction of private property. Even then, his dad was being an ass. But after the trip, he never went with us again. It's the only time he ever did. Gramps didn't think it was worth the headache, and Dad didn't enjoy the outdoors as much anyway. Did your mom ever go? Nah, it wasn't her thing at all. She wouldn't have lasted a full day out here with us. My brother went a few times, and I skipped ahead a little bit early, my bad. There we go. Brother went a few times, and I told you about that. My sister went a couple of times too, but again, it just wasn't her thing. In the end, it was something for me, Grandpa, and Nan. But that's just fine, because we always had a blast. Well, that's a good thing, at least. The hike was leisurely, and Darius was pleasantly surprised to find the path toward the top was mostly clear. There were little landmarks he would call your attention to along the way, like a small stream of water running through some of the rocks on the mountainside, or a large boulder he had climbed and perched himself upon. He was enthusiastic as he told you all the little tales about them after a flood of memories seemed to come back to him. Try to pop my back here real quick. Oh, you know, there it was. Sometimes just sitting in a chair makes my back hurt even more than like going and getting the mail or something. Like sometimes that makes it feel better. And I say the motion is the lotion. Sometimes that is the case with a back injury. Sometimes it's not. Fucking changes day to day, so fuck me if I try to make a plan, huh? Anyway. Yeah, I already read that line. Each one left him smiling and lost in his own thoughts as the walk continued. Be really careful there through here. This area is rockier and steeper since we're almost at the top. So much of the dirt was worn away over time, some of the rocks might give out beneath us. A tumble from up here might result in some pain. That's not natural dialogue. As he said that, a rock gave way under his foot and went rolling down to the brush and trees. He was holding on to a rock beside him to keep his balance. See? Test where you step before putting all your weight onto it. How much further is it? Well, not far at all. You see that rock wall? It's at the top of that is our destination. Are we gonna have to climb it? No. We have some rocks to climb up, but there's no more than a few feet at a time at most. I'll direct you where to go and help you just to make sure you're steady. If I fall, it's no big deal, but if you fall, Maria'll have my head. I don't want you falling either. You're just getting over an injury. I'll be fine. Just make sure you get up these rocks. You continued to climb and came to large chunks of rocks that you and Darius had to climb up. There was no shortage of him groping you as he helped keep you steady as you hoisted yourself up each one and then guided you along to the next one. After a couple of short breaks, bam! Big ass view. Accompanied by nice piano music. Whoa. What do you think? The view from up here is amazing. It is like just a sea of trees. Looks just as good as I remember it. I'm glad for that. I never would have guessed we had so much nature right outside the city like this. It's practically hidden, so it's no surprise to me. But just you wait, the best is soon to come. I made it right on time. For what? You'll see. I'll be back in a minute, though. Where are you going? I need the piss! Ow. Just whip it off the mountain, then. You can, but I'm gonna go for some privacy in the trees. Maybe I will. You walked the opposite direction of Darius and found a spot where you were steady. With your dick pulled for you, relieved yourself while admiring the scenery before you. What a relaxing way to go. If only all bathrooms had such a grand view. Having finished your business, you returned to where you and Darius parted. You're not done yet? Finishing up, I really had to go. He joined you again after a few minutes and handed you a small bottle. Hand sanitizer. Oh, good idea, thanks. Let's sit and have a snack. He sat with his legs dangling over the rocks, and you sat right there with him. The drop wasn't far down where you were, so you weren't worried about falling. As he handed you a bottle of water and a bag of chips, you noticed the colors of the sky were changing. It wasn't long until everything around you looked completely different. Beautiful. Dude, when me and Bree were moving to Illinois, it was really hard to leave that first day. At that time, I was living with my brother. My mom had already, she'd either moved away or was planning on moving away back to live with her family. And my dad lived far enough away that we didn't see each other regularly either. So I had grown real close to my brother, and we still are. But like, the thought of my brother going from saying goodbye to us as we drove away to him turning around and being alone in that apartment really fucking broke my heart. It really did. And I tried to distract myself with recording a vlog as we drove and listening to podcasts and music or whatever, but I still just couldn't get the feeling out of my head that we were making a mistake or something was wrong or whatever. And it was halfway through the drive that we got to our gas stop in Hannibal, Missouri. It was right before the Illinois border. And all throughout that, we were driving through the night to try to give us plenty of time to get there, less traffic to deal with. And so it was dark the whole time. And it was just darkness and sadness. We gas up And as we drive into Illinois, just across the border, I think there's a river there, the sun was rising. And an Illinois sunrise over these, like they said, a sea of trees. The trees were sparkling with morning dew, and the sun was just gorgeous. And it really gave a sense that, like, what we were doing was good, that things were going to be okay. And that was a very helpful moment. So I don't know why I'm sharing this right now. I just, being back in Kansas after feeling like going to Illinois was such a good idea and it turning out to not have gone as well as we had hoped. It just reminded me of that, I guess. Anyway, I think this is even better than what it looked like during the day. Man, this is beautiful. This is probably my favorite thing about camping. Nothing ever matched the view from up here. The gentle rustle of the wind in the tree, the distant croak of the frogs, the chirping crickets. Nothing's ever been more relaxing than this. He leaned back on his hands and stared out over the seemingly endless valley of trees resting against the painted sky. His head rocked back and forth slowly, and you could hear him humming. He was humming the tune of the song his grandmother taught him, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the piano song playing in the background. I don't know if that's true or not. It's been too long, but as soon as I heard the piano playing, I was like, that would be appropriate, wouldn't it? Again, Darius lost himself in his thoughts while you sat with him, just taking in everything around you. Spoof's getting restless on the bed. At one point, you looked over at him and saw he was staring at you, but he turned his head away quickly. Something on your mind? No, it's nothing. He turned his head completely away from you and leaned forward a bit. Silence filled the air again, but it didn't last for long. Hey. Remember earlier today when we were talking about Athagal and how he was someone I've connected with? Yeah, because he was the only other person you said you felt anything for. What? Because he was the only other person you said you felt anything for. No, I said he wasn't the only one. About that. Oh, are we finally going to get an admission of emotion from this man? He had inched closer to you, and you suddenly realized his tail was curled around your waist. Still, he didn't look at you, but kept his eyes locked on nothing in the distance. Kept his eyes looked. Darius? I always told myself it wasn't worth developing feelings for other people. You've told me that too. Just shut up and listen. It never lasts, and in the end, everyone just ends up getting hurt. I've seen enough times what toll it can take on people. I never thought it was worth it, so I just kept that from happening with one-night stands and hookups. Made it easy not knowing anything about the guys. It was always no strings attached fun. But fuck it all if someone didn't come along and screw all that up for me. Are you saying that Spencer caused something in me to change when we first got involved? Of course. There was something about him that made me want something more, but things didn't work out with us and we both ended up hurt. Par for the course, right? I thought I was stupid for giving in to a feeling that I despised. I was angry at myself, and I swore it wouldn't happen again. I acted like it didn't bother me, but losing Spencer hurt a lot. He put an arm around Darius and leaned against him. Much to your surprise, he reciprocated and pulled you to him. I bet if you talked to him about it, you guys could work it out. Why would I do that? We're done. Or at least friends again, but that's it. I mean, if you still have feelings for him, but maybe he's still... God, you're a real idiot! He squeezed you tightly and laughed for a moment. You really aren't making this any easier for me, you know. What? You could be a little dense sometimes, but I guess that's just one of the reasons why... Dots? Why you... What are you trying to say? Oh, a hug. That stupid dog woke something up inside me, but I've tried my damnedest to push those feelings away. No matter how hard I tried, all the sex in the world couldn't make it go away. And then you... This guy who told me he'd never give in to my perverted ways showed up. He was supposed to be a game for me, but that changed over time. Am I still just a game to you? Nah, you're not. Then, what am I to you? A better question would be, what do I want you to be? Okay, what do you want me to be? Oh, for fuck's sake! I want you to be my best friend. I swear to God, I'm gonna push you off of this cliff. I want you to be my boyfriend, you asshole. About damn time. Was it really so hard to say? Yes! You made me feel this mess of emotions that I didn't know existed. At first, I thought I was just horny whenever I thought about you, but if it was just, it was horny in a way that didn't make me want to have sex or jack off. It was just, my heart was horny or something. I think there's a term for that. It's called having a horny heart. That's the term for it, horny heart. Darius. There's nothing else it could be. My heart has a boner for you, and I want you to call me your boyfriend, so that maybe if you feel the same way, I love you, Darius. My heart is horny for you too, but I know it's because I love you. I felt it for a while, and I didn't want to ruin what we have. I cared too much about you to risk losing you over it, but knowing you have feelings for me too, I'd be the happiest guy in the universe to get to call you my lion. He was quiet, and when he spoke again, it was soft and choked. I love you too. Ow, these guys. It reminded me of that fucking comic I saw on Twitter where it was Darius, like, I don't remember, he like gave a present to the main character and he was like, but it doesn't mean I like you or anything. And the main character's like, Darius, we've been married for 5 years. He nuzzled more into your neck and you pushed your face against his forehead, giving him a kiss while you held each other close. He squeezed you tighter still and wouldn't let go. When he eventually did, he turned his head away and cleared his throat while wiping his face off. Your neck is all sweaty. It's all over my face now. It is warm up here, and your fur can get pretty hot, so I'm not surprised. Yeah, oh, fucking hell. He used his shirt to wipe his face down, trying to mask quiet sniffles while he did. So, serious question for you now. Does this mean I'm not allowed to see Richard's dick pics? He couldn't help but give a hearty laugh and shove him gently before pulling him back into you. Look, if Richard's gonna do it, I won't stop him, okay? After that, the only dick pics you'll ever get will be from me. What about Spencer, or as the gal? You know as well as I do, Spencer will never send you one, and if he does, as your boyfriend, I have every right to see it. Same for Azagal. But that's it! I seriously have lost my mind. How am I ever gonna get by with only having sex with the same person over and over? I guess that means it'll be time for you to get out of your comfort zone and try some new things, eh? I'm already one step ahead of you on that. How so? He has a fucking dildo up his ass, doesn't he? He said he was walking funny, and you'll find out real soon. You said that to me so many times, and I'll say it again if I have to. You will find out when I'm ready. Fine, you brat. He gave his tail a firm tug, and he responded by putting his hand between your legs to group you. I can play this game all night if you want. Well, we have all night, so... speaking of night, should we start heading back down? I have a flashlight and know the way pretty well, so we'll be fine. At this rate, it'll be dark about halfway back, so we might as well just chill for a while longer and see how things look up here at night. I would disagree. You might have a fucking flashlight, but like, you gotta use your hands while climbing rocks, so it'd be probably best if you at least wait until you get to the smooth path part before night happens, which would happen if you left now. But whatever, that's not romantic. It's just practical. If you're sure about getting back with no trouble, then I'm fine with that. Trust me, I'll get us back, no problem. Then what other snacks do you have in your bag? I'm hungry. Well, he opened the bag and pulled out a blanket first. Let's spread this out and sit on it instead. It'll add a little extra cushion to the ground. I had no idea you packed this in here. I thought it could come in handy in case we got lost and had to cuddle up for warmth. You could say that, and you say that and expect me to trust you on getting back to the camp in the dark. Oh God. The neighbor, not on the attached wall, but you know, immediately across the trash alley, they have this little yapper dog, and every day at like 7 a.m. They, like, one of the people go to work and they let the dog just sort of follow them outside. The lease for this place says that all dogs have to be on leashes if they're outside of the fucking house, but this dog gets to just run outside and yap incessantly when I'm trying to sleep. And then when that person comes home, they also let the dog out to run out and get him. And again, it sounds sweet, but it's annoying for people who are listening to it. Especially since my dog, my little spoofy boy, who's currently spread out on the bed, sleeping on Bree's side of the bed. He misses his mama. He used to, more so, have a tendency to react to dogs barking. Now he is more calm about things, if you can believe it. But God forbid someone knocks on the door or closes a car outside, then, oh, he's on alert, you know. Fucking hell. Anyway. At least we'll be prepared in case that happens. He helped him spread the blanket out, and then he went back to digging through his bag. So, I also brought this with us. He produced another contraption along with a bag of sliced meat, a bowl with unknown contents, and a couple of oddly shaped bottles. What in the world, Darius? Fondue kit. Man, you don't know what a fondue kit is? Come on, have you never seen corn to gas? The bowl has stuff to melt into a cheese dip, the sausages for dipping, and the bottles of wine. Okay, now that I've said it out loud, fondue while outside sounds like a horrible idea, because all it takes is one fly to get anywhere near this whole fucking thing, and then the whole shit is fucked. Like, well. You seriously brought all this with us? You have a problem with me trying to set up some kind of romantic mood? Not at all. I just didn't realize you stuffed so much into your backpack. All you said was there was a few drinks and snacks. One of the many surprises of today. What else do you have in store? No. I was gonna melt this cheese that we can eat. Have some crackers to go with it too. Just be mindful of your trash. Darius set up the fondue pot and its heater, and 10 minutes later, a thick white cheese sauce was bubbling and ready to eat. I know it's not some fancy meal, but it's something. Like, that matters to me. I don't think things could get any better. I know a way it could get way better. You grinned and rolled your eyes as he, in the most seductive way possible, licked cheese off a piece of meat. Okay, there's one thing, I guess. Nobody up here to hear us. Let's finish eating first. That means you're interested. I gotta be the one to satisfy all your needs now. Well, damn, if I knew it was gonna be that easy to get some from you, I would have just faked being your boyfriend. I'm pretty sure I told you something similar a while back, but you didn't think it was worth it. I guess I didn't like you as much then. I'm just being honest with you. Thrust a cheese-covered piece of meat into your mouth and quickly put another bite into his own, looking away as you glared at him. You sipped on the sweet wine and continued to munch on cheesy meat as the colors of the sky grew darker and the world became lit by the soft glow of the moon rising. You know, the only wine I've ever had was like rose petal wine, and it didn't taste sweet. It tasted like the grease that congeals at the bottom of a bag of poorly made fast food. Or rather, it didn't taste like that, but that's what the aftertaste was. And I've never had any of the kind of wine. Even like, you know, in my church-going days before I reached the age of enlightenment, they always did the fucking like grape juice. So I've not had any of the traditional grape wines. Ooh, that's pretty. Looks like there's giants in the distance ready to fucking troll over the goddamn landscape, but whatever. You know how lucky you are. Depends on what you're talking about. You got to see this during the day, during the sunset, now under the moonlight. To be honest, I've never been up here during the nighttime, so this is even new to me. Then I suppose I am lucky, because this view has been absolutely amazing. I'd say I'm even luckier because I get to be up here with you. Am I gonna have to deal with you being mushy and sappy all the time now that we're like a thing? I don't know, maybe. I should just have to deal with it. Deal with it if I am. It's all new to me. I suppose that means you'll have to deal with whatever I throw at you too. What was that face? Hold on a minute. Like, is that regret? What is that fucking expression? I don't know. That's nothing new to me though, so I can say I'm used to it. Are you really? Just how used to this do you think you are? He kissed you and put his paw down your shorts. You showed no reserve in kissing him back, returning the favor of slipping your hand into his underwear. And, got a feeling that there's gonna be a split between the OnlyFans and the YouTube version, so, yeah. Here we go again. You stood there, lips meshed together while you fondled each other's steadily stiffening cocks. Yeah. Link to the OnlyFans in the description for the uncensored, fully narrated version. God, I don't feel right charging people for my content, but I can't do YouTube versions that are uncensored. I just can't. I've already gotten a warning. After he pulled away, he fell over onto his side and sprawled out on his back beside you. Much to your surprise, his hand found yours, and he squeezed it tight while you looked at the moon rising higher into the sky. Walking back to camp's gonna suck. Sore? Not too bad, to be honest, but my fur's a mess. Mine's gonna chafe from the walk back. Well, and my clothes will stick to the jizz you got all over me. I bet I'll lose some hair. Looks like you enjoyed taking it a lot more than you expected with how you shot. Dots. Can't say I'm not impressed by that display. I've only ever shot a load like that one other time, and it was with guys a gal edging me for over an hour. Pissed him off because I didn't warn him, and it got all over his face. He even got into his mouth. He was so mad at me. Well, I'm not mad. It was pretty hot. And I swear, I'll make it a habit of getting you to shoot like that. Next time it's gonna be me who's having his load pounded out of here. It'll be, what? Next time it's gonna be you who's having a load pounded out of him. Okay, deal. He chuckled and gave your hand a tight squeeze. Let me rest a little longer and then we'll head back to camp for bed. We can wash off a little and then we'll take a real bath in the morning before the others show up. Take as long as you need, Darius. Things feel so perfect right now, and I'm happy where I am. I am too. Even though you smell like a school swimming pool right now. That's your fault, you ass. I'll roll over on top of you and share the mess if you want me to. We'll both smell like a fresh nut then. And I'll roll right down the mountain if you even try. It'll be easier to clean off of you than it would be for me. He bumped against him with a laugh, and a few minutes later you turned your head to him. And Darius, He looked at you, his eyes both glowing brightly in the moonlight. For a moment, your hand went blank. Your mind went blank. Your hand went blank. Your mind went blank. And you weren't able to speak. What is it? I love you. He wasn't able to maintain eye contact, but he turned his head in the opposite direction. I love you too. He moved closer to him, keeping his paw held tight. After nearly an hour's rest, you both dressed, picked up the area, and began the slow hike back to your campsite under the light of the moon. As soon as you were back in camp with the fire started, Darius wasted no time stripping off his clothes and diving into the water. How's the water feel? Jump in and find out. I think it feels great. You have to come in regardless. You need to clean off after the day we've had. Yeah, I know. I'm feeling pretty nasty right now. Part of that is your fault, you know. And part of the reason I feel so gross is your fault if you want to play the blame game. I'm just glad I made you wear a condom. Well, things would have been way worse with how full that thing was. Seems we both enjoyed ourselves. Now get in here and let me help you out. You stripped off your clothes and waded out into the water with Darius, where he passed you the soap he was using. That's a little cool. Well, come here then. He stepped behind you and pressed his body against your back, reaching around to assist lathering your front up. He hugged you tight, and the heat of his body radiated through you while he helped you wash. Better? Yeah. He didn't do any of his normal teasing you had grown so accustomed to, and he stuck to gently washing your chest and stomach while keeping you close. This is really nice. I feel so relaxed. I'm exhausted myself. It's been a busy day. Then we should be washing you instead of me. Let me help you out so we can get you dried and into the tent. It'll be good for a little while longer. This feels good. You know, it'd feel even better. A blowjob. You spun around and arms over his shoulders, pulling your bodies and foreheads together. Maybe, but this is what I had in mind. This isn't too bad, though, so I'll give you that. He closed his eyes and leaned against you, holding you around your waist. I've had an amazing time out here with you, Darius. Thank you for bringing me. I'm glad you came with me. I've really needed something like this. I do look forward to my own bed and shower again, though. Same here. Looking forward to my bed and shower, too. Should I? You're free to use it whenever you want, as long as you invite me to join you. You drive a hard bargain, but I think that's something we could arrange. He kissed the bridge of his snoot and leaned heavily against him. He wasn't ready for it, so you both collapsed into the water after a stumble. Cold. Well, you should have warned me first. You were quick to splash out of the water and grab your towel before rushing over to the fire to dry yourself off. Darius was soon to follow after recovering the soap floating in the water and joined you by the fire. Soap floats? I don't know. We'll do more thorough washing tomorrow afternoon when it's a bit warmer. Maybe sneak in one final quickie in the wild while we're at it. If the need arises, I'll be sure to take care of you. Oh, I'll arise. Or it'll arise. Now let me dry off so we can get some sleep. I'm ready to crash. You were happy to oblige, taking the moment to be close with him under your towels as you helped dry him off. Once he was sufficiently dry, you helped Darius extinguish the fire, and you crawled into the tent together. Darius wasted no time crawling into the sleeping bag, and you followed along, slipping in against him. You were forced into the position of the big spoon, and Darius pulled your arms around himself. Good night. Good night, Darius. Sleep well. I think I will. You put your face in his hair, and you could feel his fingers wrapping around yours as he pushed himself more into you. Love you. You too. The exhaustion from the day struck you all at once, and you found yourself dozing off to sleep with Darius clutching your hands to his chest. Well, isn't that just nice? That was just... that was nice. That is it for day 27 of Darius's route. I know there's going to be some content on the OnlyFans page for that day, so that's something. I don't know if it's really anything, but it's something. Maybe.